The pen trembled in her hand as warm lights glowed softly around the room. Quiet laughter floated through the air. Plates clinked gently. Calm music played in the background. Everything looked peaceful. Everything sounded normal. Yet inside her chest, a storm was breaking. Right there, in the middle of a family celebration, Luna Brightwell signed her divorce papers. No private room. No quiet corner. No dignity spared. Just well-dressed relatives standing close enough to watch, but far enough to pretend they weren't staring. Forced smiles. Carefully hidden judgment. Eyes that flicked away the moment she looked up. A single tear slid slowly down her cheek. No one noticed. And no one, absolutely no one, knew who Luna really was. Before this story goes any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of truth to change lives, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Kind Soul Corner. Also, tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Your support truly means everything. The Brightwell estate had never felt colder. Despite the elegant decor, the soft lighting, and the carefully arranged smiles, the air felt heavy, almost suffocating. Luna sat at the long dining table, shoulders slightly hunched, her gray coat still wrapped tightly around her like armor. Not for warmth, but for protection. The music continued playing, gentle, harmless, yet it felt distant, like it belonged to another world she was no longer part of. Her entire reality had narrowed to two things: the thin stack of papers beneath her hand, and the weight of a decision she never imagined making in front of people who once called her family. Around her stood relatives who believed they understood her story. They thought she was weak, ordinary, replaceable. They whispered behind polite smiles, exchanged knowing glances. Some even looked relieved, as if her quiet suffering confirmed everything they already believed. For years, Luna had been the quiet one. The woman who never raised her voice. The wife who didn't complain. The person who adjusted herself so others could remain comfortable. She married into wealth without realizing how quickly comfort could turn into control. How love could slowly fade when measured against status, appearances, and expectations. At first, it was subtle. Decisions made for her. Dreams postponed. Opinions dismissed with polite laughter. So she did what she always did. She stayed quiet. She gave up her dreams without announcing the sacrifice. Chose peace over pride. Simplicity over spotlight. She convinced herself that silence was strength. That endurance meant loyalty. That love, if handled carefully, might return. When the marriage began to crumble, she tried to fix it privately. Late conversations. Unanswered questions. Promises that never quite landed. She hoped dignity might survive where affection had failed. But dignity is fragile in rooms filled with judgment. As she signed the final page, the looks around her cut deeper than words ever could. Some smiled politely, the kind of smile that hides relief. Others whispered just loud enough to be heard. A few barely concealed their satisfaction. To them, Luna was the woman who failed. The one who couldn't hold her place. The one who was lucky to have been there at all. And now, even that luck was gone. The party continued. Glasses clinked. Music played. Conversation flowed effortlessly, as if her heartbreak was just another moment to overlook. What no one in that room knew was that Luna learned silence long before she learned compromise. She didn't grow up powerless. She grew up intentional. She was taught restraint, responsibility, humility, not because she lacked options, but because she had too many. She valued substance over spectacle, character over noise, privacy over applause. She never spoke about her past, not out of shame but out of choice. She never mentioned her father, Benny Brightwell, a man whose name moved companies, whose signature shifted markets, whose presence commanded rooms far greater than this one. Luna believed love should stand without money, that relationships built on power were already broken, that people revealed their truest selves when they thought no one influential was watching. And tonight, they did. When the pen finally left the page, something inside her shifted. The pain didn't disappear. It stayed, heavy, real, undeniable. But beneath it came clarity. This room no longer owned her future. These people no longer defined her worth. What they mistook for defeat was freedom. Earlier that same day, a private jet had landed quietly at a nearby airport. No announcements, no attention, no headlines. Later that evening, a few unfamiliar guests arrived, dressed simply, calm, confident. They didn't dominate conversations. They didn't draw focus. But they carried an energy that felt different. And when Benny Brightwell stepped into the room, everything changed. Conversations slowed. Laughter thinned. Confidence wavered. Some recognized him instantly. Others felt the shift without understanding why. His eyes moved through the room until they found Luna. She didn't turn. She didn't react. She felt him before she saw him. He didn't speak, didn't announce himself, didn't demand attention. He simply stood beside his daughter and placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. The room went silent. Smiles faded. Whispers stopped. Judgment turned into discomfort. People who had laughed now looked unsure. Those who had judged now avoided eye contact. The truth settled slowly and painfully. Luna was never someone who lost everything. She was someone who chose to walk away from excess, from control, from a life that asked her to disappear quietly. And now, she was free. She didn't smile in triumph. She didn't seek revenge. She didn't need to. Her power was quieter than that. It was dignity. It was restraint. It was knowing exactly who she was, even when others didn't. As Luna walked out into the night, the lights behind her no longer felt heavy. They felt distant. The air felt lighter. The silence felt peaceful. She wasn't rescued. She was reclaimed. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to Kind Soul Corner. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that remind the world of dignity, compassion, and quiet strength. And before you go, comment one word that describes how this story made you feel. Because sometimes the quietest people carry the greatest strength. And sometimes, a silent ending is the beginning of the most powerful chapter of all.